Clark put on a show. Assist, balling, bruh, on a whole nother level. I'm telling you right now, they need to sign this CBA. I want to see.
Caitlin Clark made a big impact once again. Yet Team USA continued to use her off the bench. So here's the question everyone is asking. Did Team USA make the wrong decision by keeping Clark in a reserve role again? After what happened against Italy, it is becoming much harder to ignore that debate.
Tell you, that is some diabolical, nasty-ass work from USA Basketball. By the way, I don't know if you guys realize exactly how competitive this game could have been if it wasn't for a first quarter where USA Basketball jumped out to a big lead, because the second and third quarter was not the blowout anybody thought it might be. Oh, and once again, the brand of basketball, tough to watch. Tough to watch. In case you did not realize this, Caitlin Clark did not start again. But judging by the response, everybody.
Team USA defeated Italy 93-59. Looking at the score, it seems like a routine victory. Another solid result, another strong outing, and another successful step in FIBA qualifying. But anyone who watched the game closely knows the biggest story was not the win itself. The real headline was how Caitlin Clark entered the game, quickly changed the momentum, and delivered productive minutes once again.
They came out there and put the beats on them, bro. But we have to talk about Caitlin Clark. Now, Caitlin Clark had about 12 points, but overall, logo threes from way downtown. She got it in the day, bro. And, I love performances like this from CC.
Yet, despite her impact, she was still used as a sixth player rather than someone the team fully centers its offense around. And this is starting to become a clear trend. Before this matchup, Clark was already drawing major attention. In her debut against Senegal, she played brilliantly and looked comfortable from the moment she stepped on the floor. Against Puerto Rico, the conversation shifted to how she was being used. Fans questioned why the offense was not running through her more often, why she remained on the bench, and why a player who changes games so quickly was still being limited. That made the Italy game even more important. People wanted to know if Clark would finally start, if Team USA would stop bringing her along slowly, and if she would be given more freedom to control the game. The answer was no. Clark came off the bench again, and what followed was exactly why this discussion keeps growing. She entered the game around 4 minutes into the opening quarter and scored right away.
Everywhere in the world.
And Caitlin Clark immediately making it in.
Not later. Not once she got comfortable. Not after spending time on the court. From the very first moment. That is what sets Clark apart from everyone else. She does not need extra time to make her presence felt. The second she checks into the game, everything starts to shift. By the time the first quarter ended, she had already scored 7 points. 7 points in one quarter coming off the bench. That is more than just a quick boost. It is more than bringing energy. It is instant scoring production. And when the same thing keeps happening game after game, fans naturally start asking the same question. If Caitlin Clark continues entering games and making this kind of immediate difference, why does Team USA still appear determined to keep her in a limited role? And this was not simply a strong opening quarter followed by a quiet game. Clark ended the night with 12 points, 5 assists, and 1 rebound in just over 21 minutes of action. She connected on 4 of her 5 field goal attempts, made 2 of 3 shots from beyond the arc, and was perfect from the free throw line, hitting both of her attempts.
Go. Clark off the brief screen. Sidestep, deep three!
What Clark is doing on the court is smart, controlled, and effective. She is not forcing shots, making careless mistakes, or looking lost in her role. That is important because there are usually clear reasons why a player stays on the bench. Sometimes they are struggling, sometimes coaches are not fully confident in them, and sometimes they simply do not fit well with the lineup. But none of those reasons seem to fit Clark's situation. She keeps delivering results. She makes the right passes, spreads the floor, creates scoring chances, and helps the offense move smoothly. Yet her role remains the same. That is exactly why this conversation keeps growing after every game, and the matchup against Italy only added more attention to it. Team USA took control of the game from the beginning, and never allowed Italy to get into a rhythm. The Americans were ahead 28-11 after the first quarter, 50-30 at halftime, and 69-45 heading into the fourth. It was a dominant showing from a roster filled with talent. Chelsea Gray played well early, Kalia Copper stayed aggressive, and the experienced players handled their responsibilities. Team USA looked like the powerhouse everyone expected. But that is actually why the discussion around Clark keeps getting louder instead of fading away. If the game is already under control, Clark is playing efficiently, and she has already shown in previous games that she can lead the offense, then why is she not getting a bigger opportunity? That is the question many fans keep asking. Her impact seems larger than the role she has been given. Once people notice that difference, it becomes difficult to ignore. Clark is not simply a scorer who comes off the bench for a few quick points. Her influence goes much deeper than that. She changes how defenses play, creates more space, opens passing opportunities, helps teammates find better shots, and increases the team's pace. The game feels different when she is on the floor. That is why her short stretches of play attract so much attention. They are not lucky moments or random hot streaks. They show what happens when she has the chance to influence the game. Because of that, the bench role continues to feel smaller than what she is actually contributing. To be fair, Team USA is still winning comfortably. This roster is packed with talent and does not rely on one player to carry the team every night. Coaches also experiment during tournaments, adjust minutes, and test different lineups. In this game, Carol Lawson was not even coaching from the sideline, with Nate Tibbetts handling those duties. All of those points are valid, but the main issue still remains. Clark keeps showing that she is ready for more responsibility, not less. She looks capable of handling the ball more often, spending additional time with the starters, pushing the pace, and having a greater role in directing the offense from the beginning of games, rather than proving herself again in limited minutes. What stands out now is that the debate is no longer about whether she belongs at this level. She clearly does. It is no longer about whether her skills work in international basketball. They clearly do. It is also no longer about whether she can make an impact in limited playing time, because she continues to prove that as well. Now only one major question remains. If Caitlin Clark keeps changing games this quickly whenever she gets the chance, how long can Team USA continue treating this like a normal bench situation? That is where the tension comes from, and the Italy game may have made it even stronger. Italy was expected to provide a tougher challenge during this part of the schedule. Clark entered the game, scored efficiently, recorded 5 assists, helped maintain control, and once again made a positive impact. Yet the discussion after the game sounded exactly the same as before it started. She delivered again, and she was still coming off the bench. This does not mean Team USA played poorly. It does not take away from a convincing victory, and it does not suggest the roster lacks talent. It simply means the same trend appeared again. Clark continues making an impact that feels larger than the role she receives. When the same thing happens 3 games in a row, it begins to look less like a coincidence. That is why people keep talking about it. That is why fans continue debating it. And that is why the story is unlikely to disappear anytime soon. Every game seems to follow a familiar pattern. Clark provides another spark, another stretch where her presence changes the flow of the game. And then Team USA returns to using her as a supporting option instead of a key piece that can shift everything. So the question remains, did Team USA make the wrong decision by bringing Caitlin Clark off the bench again? Yes or no? And if you are still watching, type Start Clark in the comments.
As Team USA comes back the other way, looking to punish, Caitlin Clark pulls up from deep. And those are the Caitlin Clark logo threes we're used to seeing.
Caitlin Clark has made another unexpected move that caught many fans off guard. For the second game in a row, she came off the bench instead of starting. After putting up an impressive 17 points and 12 assists in her first game with Team USA, many people expected her to return to the starting lineup. However, when Team USA faced Puerto Rico, Clark was once again listed as a reserve. That decision quickly became a major talking point because many fans believed the bench role was only temporary, meant to help her ease back into action, manage her playing time, or allow veteran players to start first. But when the lineup was announced, Clark was still not among the starters. Paige Buchers, Chelsea Gray, Kelsey Plum, Kiki Iriafen, and Monique Billings all got the starting nod, while Clark remained on the bench. That naturally leads to an important question. Is Team USA purposely limiting Clark's role right now? Or do they believe she can make a bigger impact leading the second unit? Before going any further, think about this yourself. Do you believe Caitlin Clark should be starting for Team USA at this point? The debate around that question continues to grow as more fans react to the coaching staff's decision. In this matchup, Team USA took on Puerto Rico in San Juan during the FIBA Women's World Cup qualifying tournament. Unlike the previous game against Senegal, this contest had a different atmosphere because Puerto Rico was playing at home and had the support of the crowd. Early in the game, Team USA relied heavily on its starters. Kelsey Plum got off to a strong start, Paige Buchers began finding her rhythm, and Kiki Iriefin was extremely efficient offensively. Meanwhile, Clark watched from the sideline once again before eventually checking into the game.
Of course, agendas had to be pushed. Caitlin Clark started the game on her bench. Angel Reese gets the start. Ka Copper, Chelsea Gray, Dearica Hamby. Chelsea Gray. You know what a real vet would do? A real vet would say, you know what? Here's my spot. I ain't competing with that. You know what? We're a better team if you take my spot and I try to fit it.
Just like in the first game, the moment she stepped onto the court, the game started to look different. The tempo shifted, players had more room to move, and the defense was forced to respect her shooting range. Clark didn't have the same scoring outburst this time, and her three-point shot took a bit longer to start falling. At one stage, she even hurt her finger after missing a deep three. But then came one of the night's most exciting moments. Clark read the pass perfectly, stole the ball, raced from one end of the floor to the other, finished the layup and earned the extra free throw.
The corner, Brianna Jones. Caitlin Clark gets in the passing lane, goes coast to coast for the and one opportunity. Makes the layup off the glass. She asked her teammates, did that go in? Now she gets a chance at the foul line. She wanted the intentional. I think she got hit in the head there, but let's take another look. Caitlin Clark.
After the play, the cameras showed her with a surprised look on her face as she said something that gave many fans a good laugh. She looked up and asked, "Did that actually go in?" That reaction perfectly captured the mood of the night. Clark didn't put up the huge numbers she had in the previous game, but she continued making a difference in important moments. Then later in the third quarter, she launched a deep three from well beyond the arc. It was from logo distance and the shot dropped cleanly through the net.
As Team USA comes back the other way, looking to punish. Caitlin Clark pulls up from deep. And those are the Caitlin Clark logo threes we're used to seeing when she's in.
The kind of shot that makes defenders nervous the second she crosses midcourt. By the fourth quarter, Team USA was fully in control and secured an easy victory. Paige Buchers led with 16 points, Kelsey Plum scored 12, and Angel Reese earned her first Team USA double-double with 10 points and 13 rebounds. Yet after the game, the main discussion wasn't about the final result. It was about Caitlin Clark's role because she once again did not start the game, making it 2 straight games in this tournament. So why is this happening? There are several possible reasons. First, Coach Carol Lawson could simply be testing different lineups. Team USA has already qualified for the 2026 World Cup, so these games are more focused on building chemistry and finding the best combinations than on getting must-win results. Another reason could be workload management. Clark recently returned from an injury that kept her out for a significant period, and the coaching staff may be carefully increasing her playing time. There is also another explanation many basketball fans quickly recognize. Sometimes the most effective player is the one coming off the bench. When Clark enters the game, she often faces opposing reserve players, and that can create huge offensive advantages. We saw that in the opening game, and Team USA may be looking to use that strategy again. Even so, the debate continues because Caitlin Clark is far from an ordinary player. She is one of the best defensive playmakers in basketball. When fans watch her perform at such a high level, questions naturally follow. Should she be starting? Or is this bench role actually the better option for Team USA right now? Share your opinion. Do you think Caitlin Clark belongs in the starting lineup? Or do you prefer her coming off the bench and changing the game that way? Comment yes or no below. If you've watched this far, comment Clark off the bench so I know you stayed until the end because this story is still developing. Team USA has more games left in this tournament, And the big question remains, will Caitlin Clark continue coming off the bench, or will she soon earn a starting spot? Caitlin Clark made a huge impact in her Team USA debut with 17 points, 12 assists, and 4 three-pointers in only 19 minutes. But the detail that caught everyone off guard was that she did not start the game. Instead, she came off the bench. Before going any further, here's the question everyone is asking. Should Caitlin Clark be a starter for Team USA? Leave your answer in the comments. Yes or no? Because after this performance, that discussion is only going to grow. Here's how it all happened. Team USA began the FIBA Women's World Cup qualifying tournament in San Juan, Puerto Rico, facing Senegal. The United States entered as the world's top-ranked team, while Senegal was ranked 25th. Despite that difference, the biggest story before tip-off wasn't the rankings. It was Caitlin Clark making her first appearance with the senior Team USA squad. Fans had waited a long time for this debut, especially after an injury-disrupted WNBA season, in which she appeared in only 13 games. When the starting lineup was revealed, fans immediately noticed Clark's name was missing. Team USA opened with Kalia Copper, Chelsea Gray, Dearica Hamby, Angel Reese, and Jackie Young. Clark started on the bench, and that decision quickly became a major topic because she is one of the most talked about athletes in basketball. However, midway through the first quarter, Clark entered the game, and the impact was immediate. In just a few minutes, she scored 5 points, handed out 4 assists, and helped transform Team USA's offense into a faster, more aggressive attack.
A minute and a half left to go in the first. Billings up to Clark. Clark takes her first shot, and it's a 3, and it is good. Caitlin Clark on the move, over to Billings. Billings on the left-hand side.
By the end of the opening quarter, Team USA had already built a 17-point advantage. Senegal struggled to get anything going offensively. The American defense was creating turnovers and taking away almost every quality scoring chance. The second quarter made the gap even larger. At halftime, the score stood at 59-19. The United States was shooting an incredible 70% from the field and 71% from beyond the arc. At the center of that performance was Caitlin Clark. She had 8 points and 8 assists, putting herself in position for a double-double in her Team USA debut. The momentum continued after the break. Clark remained in control of the offense, consistently setting up open teammates for easy baskets. Her deep shooting threat kept the defense on alert every time she touched the ball. By the end of the third quarter, Team USA led 82-36. Clark had already collected 12 assists. On the other side, Senegal's frustration was becoming clear as head coach Jake Sarr was thrown out of the game after picking up 2 technical fouls in a row.
How she has a little bit of a tough time getting that one done. There's a technical foul called on Coach Sarr, the head coach of Senegal, upset, I think, with the no call there, and he gets his first technical of the game. And his second technical.
Nothing could stop Team USA from taking control of the game. Their defense created 20 turnovers, while their offense stayed hot from start to finish. When the game ended, the score showed complete dominance. Team USA won 10, Senegal 46, securing a 64-point win in their tournament opener. Clark recorded 17 points and 12 assists in only 19 minutes of action. Every basket she made came from three-point range, knocking down 4 of her 5 attempts from deep.
Finds herself down low, kicks it out to Caitlin Clark. Clark puts it up, and nothing.
Here is your rewritten paragraph with the same meaning, similar length, simple wording, and completely fresh phrasing. She was also flawless at the free throw line, making all 5 of her attempts and recording her first international double-double. What makes it even more impressive is that it happened in her debut game with the senior national team. Atlanta Dream guard Ryan Howard finished as the game's top scorer with 21 points, while Angel Reese contributed 6 points and grabbed 8 rebounds. However, the main focus of the night went far beyond the final result. The real spotlight was on what happened when Caitlin Clark entered the game. The entire offense immediately looked sharper, quicker, better spaced, and far more dangerous. That brings us back to the question everyone was asking before the opening tip. Why isn't Caitlin Clark in the starting lineup for Team USA? The coaches may be carefully handling her workload after recent injuries. They could be giving her time to settle back into full game action. Or perhaps they are still testing different combinations during these qualifying games. But when a player puts up 17 points and 12 assists in under 20 minutes, people are going to take notice. Now the debate is heating up. Should Caitlin Clark be a starter for Team USA? Or is her current role off the bench the best option right now? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you've watched all the way to the end, type Clark 17 below so I know you stayed with us. One more time, do you think Caitlin Clark deserves a starting spot? Or should Team USA keep bringing her off the bench for now?